Yo, Mark Evans, how you doing, brother?
Great, Tim. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. So, dude, all right, we are live. Everything's good to go. And dude, I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on with the economy. So, I, dude, at the event about a year and a half ago, the DM Family Mastermind event that you hosted down in the Keys, me, Austin, Terry Summers, a few other guys hopped on there and did a little, and it went viral. They had like 5, 6, 7 million views within a couple of weeks, and then it's making rounds on the internet again right now. And I just got memeified yesterday, talking about the housing recession of 2008, and it's got like that stripper from The Big Short in there. It's like I own 5 houses and a condo, and it's got me talking about I own over 4,000 houses. It's like 2022 housing crash. So I want about the economy. I want your take on what's going on, and then obviously I'm coming out and speaking at your event in a couple of weeks. I want to make sure everybody knows a little bit more about that too. So yeah, let's talk about that. So talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the marketplace as far as private equity and stocks and crypto and real estate and all that kind of stuff is going, and how concerned are you or not concerned are you?
Man, again, first off, thanks for having me here, Tim. I think it's huge that, my buddy Sean always says, get your house in order. This is something you should be saying every day, not just today or in the future. It's something a lot of people are very loose. And the truth is you're going to see who's naked and who's not here real soon. The tide's going out, and there's going to be a lot of fakers that are going to be exposed. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, man, I'm focused on me. I love times like this, man. You and I, dude, we like working. I don't think people realize, I know they see us traveling and doing stuff and all that, but we work. And this is the time where you're going to find out who really works and who talks about working. So we got to be working smarter, more diligently. I wouldn't be out there. A lot of people have been out buying boats and cars that they don't need and all this other crazy junk. And now it's like, dude, it's time to be exposed, man. I think you're going to see a lot of the big hedge funds slow down, probably stop buying houses for a minute. They all want to take advantage of what's going on. You guys understand, the real wealthy people, this actually is, we like stuff like this, right? This is not a bad time. This is actually a really good time. You don't see a lot of people talk great about it because it does hurt a lot of people in the middle road. The poor will always be poor. It's part of the game. The middle road are the ones that get absolutely obliterated because they've overextended. They're living in a $600,000 house when they should be in a $300,000 house. They're driving a Volvo when they should be driving a Chrysler. And as you know, Tim, they're not investing. These are savers. These are savers and spenders. Investors, if you invested for the proper cash flow, not equity, by the way, cash flow, because equity speculation temporarily, but cash flow, man, listen, it's going to get good for us.
Yeah, dude, no, I 100% agree. What people don't realize, I don't think, is that, or what a lot of people don't realize is that, dude, inflation increases asset values. So if you own assets, inflation doesn't hurt you. It actually helps you. It makes you wealthier. If you don't own assets, you're fucked. You're in a really, really tight spot. You're going to be in trouble if you don't own assets. What are assets? Assets aren't just your cars and your boats. Dude, those aren't assets. I know the tax man says those are assets. They're not. Assets are things that put money in your pocket, the cash flowing assets, the things that you can buy. And the reality is, man, that I got people hitting me up. Dude, what are you're not affected by the market shift? You're not doing this. You're not. Dude, things are changing all the time. Things are always moving, ebbing and flowing, ins and out, dude. And that's why if you have good skills, resources, you have the right mindset, you can attack any market and have success in any sort of market. You can buy deals in any market. Are things changing? Yeah, things are changing. But guess what? The same fundamental principles transcend markets, right? If you're buying at a discount, if you're buying for cash flow, if you're not speculating on real estate, right? If you're sticking to good areas wherever you're buying real estate, if you're putting the right types of debt in place and having the right debt structures in place, at the end of the day, man, even though interest rates are rising, it's all about cost of capital, right? If you're going to buy something that cash flows and it yields a 8% annualized return on your investment, right? That just means that you need to be able to buy it for less than 8% blended cost of capital. So if you go to a bank and get a bank loan at 5% interest rate, for 80% of the money.
Yep.
The other 20% of the money either needs to come from you or a private money investor or whoever, and you can't pay more than 10, 12% on that smaller portion, because then your blended cost of capital will be over that 8% return, you know? And so it's a very basic formula on how to buy cash flowing assets. But dude, I think with how much inflation's going up, we're actually in a really sweet spot right now, because inflation's increasing. The feds will tell you that it's going up by 9.2% or whatever it was this month, year over year.
Yeah, it's way more.
Which we all know it's way more than that, right? That's just what they're willing to admit to. And interest rates are still, I mean, yeah, dude, they're more than what they were 4 months ago or 3 months ago, but guess what? They're still historically low. 5% money is free friggin' money in my mind. Yep. And if you got interest or inflation happening at 12%, right, and you have an interest rate at only 5%, dude, you got 7% per year that you're increasing the value of your assets. Yeah. So, dude, I have an anxiety about me right now to go out there and pick up as many good cash flows as I can with this fixed long-term debt.
Yeah.
And then sit on it, dude, because we all know that inflation is going to keep on pushing values up. Nothing tracks inflation better than rental real estate.
Yeah, Tim, what's that saying? When there's blood on the streets, that's when an opportunity is. It's a cool meme. A lot of people say it. Right now, there's blood on the streets, and you guys are all retreating. Mm-hmm. They're all getting scared. See, it's easy to look back 5 years, 20 years, 1920s. Say, oh, I would have been a big dog. I would have done, no, you wouldn't have. You'd have ran back in your closet like you're doing now, and you'd be scared to death, and you'd be buying junk shit that you shouldn't be buying and all this stuff, right? So this is the time. This is the stuff that people wait for. Mm-hmm. This is blood on the street moments going on, right? This happened during 2 years ago, actually, when I started writing this book, about the C word back in the day, but it really was like way before that. The me economy's always been me. You're asking about the Fed. We already know the Fed's going to raise the rate again. By the way, it's coming out with 1 or 2 more raises by the end of this year, guaranteed. Yep. They have to. That's the only way they can keep out of trouble for the country. That's it. But, so, Tim, you and I are used to borrowing money at 10 to 20% a year. It's normal as investors to do that. The retail marketplace doesn't understand, dude, back in the 80s, it was 18%, So, retailers are going to get smacked. Again, this is middle class. It's really, the agenda is to wipe out middle class. That's the agenda. I mean, if you guys don't see this, you're absolutely mind-boggling. Like, it's never been clearer than ever. Everything, like, Tim and I don't care about gas prices. Tim and I don't care about, how the percentages, like, this is part of the game. This is what they're trying to do. I get it. It's very taxing on the middle class. You're going to your work job, you're doing this stuff every day, and you're adding another $100, $150 a week to your bottom line, or a quarter, or, per month in gas. It's a big problem. But the thing is, what the real problem is? By the way, that's uncontrollable. You can't control that, because you got to have gas. If not, ride the bike, ride the bus. But you don't want to ride the bus because it's inconvenience. It's hard, right? So I get it. But you shouldn't have bought that Camaro. You shouldn't have bought the new truck. You shouldn't have bought the new boat. You should have been bragging about the Airbnb that you bought, that you've been staying in. You haven't been renting because it's too cool. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I think it's really a flushing out of weak people. That's really what's going to happen. Stock market, crypto, real estate, and everything in between. It's just a flushing out moment,
Well, dude, yeah. I mean, for some of you guys went and bought that stuff, but that's okay, because you have assets to back it up, right? You have the cash flow from those assets to back it up. You have a business, you have real estate, you have rental revenue from some sort of other stream of income. But if you don't have assets, what are you doing, right? You need to go buy assets before you buy liabilities. That is the secret of why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's because the rich buy assets and the poor do not. And the people in the middle class that you're talking about, Mark, are the people who have the ability to buy those assets, but then they just don't, right? For some reason. So how do you go out and buy assets? How do you do all that? Dude, we talk about this stuff nonstop. Make sure you're following Mark. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're following a lot of the other people who are out there educating you, putting out a ton of free content about how to go out and change your economy, right? And that's what the me economy is all about.
Yeah. Dude, another thing too, what's really cool about, not cool, but what's really going on is right now, this is a great time to lean in and learn, right? You're going to start realizing where you're weak. You better admit it and do something about it, because you can control it. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be worth it. And right now too, Tim, guys like you and I, we have so much deep relationship capital across many spectrums, like all across the board, from finance people to lender, all these pieces that you and I are working on all these years. Last 10 years been really easy for a lot of people. Now all of a sudden it's going to come to a head. Your relationship capital, the people you've met at events, the people you've connected with one-on-one, the people you've met, that you're doing business with, and you're always doing the right thing continuously, even when it sucks. This is where it's going to shine, man. This is, again, I remember 2008, 9, and 10, man, I made more money in those 3 years than I did in the first 12. Not because I'm smarter than anybody. It's just because I saw the opportunity, the blood on the street, and I took advantage of it like smart people did. And I'm not smart, but my team and all of us, we saw it. It was clear as day.
Dude, and that's the key. Like, I just hosted my mastermind event last week, and 225 people there, all mastermind members, like, so that they all know me. We've all been to events. We all, connected. And they're like, dude, I need to be focused on. And I'm like, listen, I would have an anxiety about and get 100 doors as soon as possible. Getting some sort of, whether that's cash flowing real estate, cash flowing business, whatever, build up your balance sheet one way or another, and build up the network, build up the relationships. Because when the banks weren't lending to people in 2009, they were still lending to people. It was like the 3% who actually had assets and were bankable are the people who still got money, right? The other 97%, because they didn't have assets. Like, you need to have assets. You need to have a balance sheet. You need to have a portfolio of businesses or of real estate. So that way, when they cut off the spigot and lending tightens up and LTVs drop, and also you can go to the bank and they look at you and they say, yes, we're going to keep on giving you money. So that way you can buy more assets at deep, deep discounts, because you obviously are a good steward of capital, right? And most other people aren't doing that. Like, they're just like, oh, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and wait. No, now is the time to be skilling up, to be adding deals to your portfolio, so that way you have the balance sheet, and to be developing your network. Like, we're actively having conversations with our investors saying, hey, it's coming, it's rolling forward. We're still doing deals. We're doing great deals. We're buying in every market, and get ready. Like, we're really going to turn this thing up. If there really is a market cycle, right? Like, nobody has all, but if there is one, we all know things cycle. It will eventually slow down. You're seeing it already with market and all this other stuff, with single family world, and with rates increasing and all this other jazz. But the reality is, man, like, dude, we can do deals in any market because we've bought assets and we have the relationship capital.
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone needs to be skilling up and learning how to do creative financing deals, right? Because when the banks do slow down, and you got to really understand the real reason why someone's selling. It's been a seller's market pretty heavy for a long time. Now it becomes a buyer's market, and you got to get creative. You got to understand what their real pain points are. You got to understand how to take over the debt. You better get with lawyers and understand sub-2 and creative financing structures, how to protect you and the seller. And these are things you learn by going to events, connecting with the people. That's how I started in real estate. I did a sub-2 deal. Actually, that was a lease option deal, my first deal. And then I started getting into sub-2s because I wanted to tie up the equity. But like, there's a lot of cool things that you can learn. I mean, dude, it's free. It's online. It's everywhere. But this happens on mansions, mega apartment complex. Like, sometimes the biggest deals are the easiest ones. Why? Because they're investors. They just need to take that off their plate and move on to something bigger, a bigger problem they have. Yep. So you think, oh man, it's too big. Actually, it might be just the right size. So you got to step in and lean into that. Get around guys like him. It's like, dude, why aren't you doing 100 units? You're only doing 2. Like, let's go.
Yeah, 100%, dude. So, dude, I'm obviously speaking at your event in what is it? 10 days from now, right?
Yeah.
Dude, super pumped. You got an all-star lineup. That's kind of a backhanded compliment to myself, or not a little roundabout compliment.
Whatever. You're just say it.
Not about me. No, but dude, it's
not about me, but it's about me. Anyway.
It's a huge honor to be on that stage. Dude. You got some absolute rock stars. Sean Whalen's coming out. Agugliaro's coming out. You got Austin Rutherford on the stage. Matt Garabedian's on it. You're going to be on the stage. Terry Summers on the stage. Obviously, you're going to be there. There's a bunch of rock stars. You're going to get a couple hundred people out there at least in Cleveland. Yeah. Tell everybody about that event. I want to make sure people know about that, because that's the kind of room that you guys need to be in. You
Yeah.
have to be there because of the relationships that are going to be in the room. You can go and get a lot of the content on how to do this shit online, but the reality is those relationships, rubbing elbows, having a drink with somebody after a long day of learning and stimulating ideas, and then having that conversation of like, how can we build wealth together? How can we do some of this stuff together? How can we this, that, like, dude, that's where the deepened relationships come in. Where now relationship capital. So when it's
June
Tuesday,
29th and 30th in Cleveland, Ohio. So, I mean, it's really for anybody that wants to expand their network, expand their brain, have a better life, buy back their time, gain more access to financial freedom. It's not for everybody. This is a charity event. 100% net proceeds will go to charity. Operation Underground Railroad Project Foundation is the majority charity that we're running to. There's going to be, like you said, Maurice Claret, how he went from prison to doing, build a massive company, lots of employees, doing many millions of dollars a year. How's that even possible? So this is a non-selling event. I'm not in the seminar business. I don't sell anything. I don't have anything to sell you. No one does, actually. There's
nobody selling shit there, dude. Everything's, all proceeds are going to the nonprofit.
So I had some guys hit me, oh, you're going to sell Mastermind Mentoring. We have nothing to sell. We're there to serve for the bigger purpose, Care 360. We care about ourselves, we care about you, and we care about the charities. We're all coming in here to connect. I'm bringing in, like you said, my buddies, people that I've done business with over the many, 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 many years. My relationship capital bank, brain bank, is coming up on the stage to guide you and share with you real insider knowledge of how Austin's been able to gain access to massive amounts of private money. Tim, how you've done it. Jennings has done it. So many people here. So it really is an experience from 9 to 5 p.m. every day. And then on the second day, we have a black tie party for my birthday bash, where we do another charity style event inside of that. That goes from 6:30 to 10:30. It will be absolutely epic. We'll have about 250, 300 people here in Cleveland. What's cool about it, you're thinking like, and by the way, it's only $997. I know it's too cheap because last time I did this, it was $2,000, and it was still a steal. I mean, nothing to buy. You're coming in. People are leaving. Dude, one relationship, one business deal, one real estate transaction, one partnership opportunity just pops in these kind of rooms. Our goal is to weed people out that should not be there. My guys, John and Ryan, or I talk to you before you come in, and we want to make sure it's the right fit. So it's going to be absolutely spectacular, man. I'm excited to have you guys.
Dude, it's going to be epic. All your summer events are always epic. I got a comment over here. Been waiting 2 years to go to a DM B-Day bash. Can't wait to see you guys then. I agree. Burn the ships, develop 30 plus. He's developing some stuff. Tia Spangenberg's coming. Looking forward to seeing you guys coming there after vacation.
Tia and her husband. Yeah. No, there's gonna be a lot of it. Listen, I think what's cool about this event, because I'm not in the seminar business, is a lot of people are coming because they want to support the big picture. And I respect that. I would do the same thing. I mean, if someone I had one guy, he's like, I don't pay to go to events. People pay me. Keep in mind, he's Mickey Mouse. He's probably get paid $1,200 and a cheap seat in the plane to get there. But that's the wrong way of looking at it. You got to you got to invest in yourself. If you're not worth $3,000 or $2,000 or whatever it costs by the time you fly and hotel and all that, then what are you worth? You're sitting here talking about problems. A lot of people right now, Tim, have a lot of anxiety too, right? The biggest thing to break through anxiety is through action. Get around people doing bigger stuff. Walk, like literally cutting the forest through, so you just walk right behind them. You don't have to do all the hard work. You're not a solopreneur. You're not only out there by yourself. Guys like Tim, guys like me, guys like Sean, we all want to help you, but you might be too hard-headed or thinking, I got to do it all on my own. No, that's why we do these types of events. We genuinely want to help you. But what's that saying, Tim? We can lead them to the trough of water, but we can't make them drink it, right?
Dude, and here's the difference, right? Most events, there's people talking about how to go out and do this stuff. You're doing it. I'm doing it. Waylon's doing it. Like, everybody who's on the stage is out there actually in the trenches, working in this economy, right? Like battling interest rate hikes and hedging inflation and doing all the different things that we need to be doing.
Yes.
Because we're actual operators, dude. We're actual business owners. We just happen to educate other people because we have an abundance mentality, and we see it not as competition, but as collaboration. Who knows? Maybe there's ways that we could do business together. Maybe somebody brings me an apartment building from this event that I can go and fund for you, and both of us together make money, build wealth, right? Maybe somebody knows of somebody else selling a business that you can come in, you buy it, roll it all up. We can throw some money at it, and then you take it from a $3 million a year business to a $13 million a year business, exit it, and we all make boku bucks in the span of a couple of years. Like, dude, that opportunity is abundant at these kinds of events, and that's the beauty of it. It's the hanging out, it's the developing the relationships, and realizing, dude, we're all relatively young in this game, and can you imagine what we've accomplished to this point in our lives? Imagine, dude, just continuously investing in these relationships, where we're going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, and what that's going to look like. It's almost, dude, it's unfathomable of what is going to happen.
Absolutely, man. No, Tim, I'd love to talk more. As you know, I got another 10 a.m., but dude, like, get over to markevansdm.com/live. If you don't mind putting the link in the thing, we'll put it there. But guys, it's going to be epic. You're going to meet amazing people. It's cool too, Tim. We don't just get done off the stage and run out back. We actually mingle, connect. We're in the game. We're there for 2 full days. Like, we are in the game with you.
Wait, what is it? markevansdm.com/live. .com/live. I just put it in the links. markevansdm.com/live. Cool, brother. Well, dude, I know you got a 10 o'clock. I appreciate you hopping on, talk a little bit about the economy, talking about your economy, and just excited to see you in a couple of weeks, bro. So
definitely. Thank
welcome
you so
back
much.
to Ohio.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. You too.
See you guys. Have a great weekend.